That's one aspect of movie making, that wonderful ensemble movie making. But then the other extreme for you, of course, is doing the Star Wars, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because here you're talking to a blue screen.
That's right.
To space.
Yeah, that's
that
much harder. It's not so much boring. No, it's not boring. No, I wouldn't have said boring. It's it's technically very difficult. You mean there's nothing there.
I know. So how do you do it? I mean, here you are. You stand there. And
what they do is they get a guy in. In the second one we shot, I had to speak to these alien-y people, and they had guys, you know, with workman's hard hats. Well, they had this lady and a man with a hard hat on, and on top a cardboard cutout of the alien's head, gaffer taped on. So they'd do a few takes, and they'd walk around with these hats on, and I'd have to remember to look up there, you know. And you'd do that, and you'd play the scene out, and then when they got down to the real takes, they weren't there. So you just have to kind of remember where you were looking, but it's really difficult. I mean, it is, and it's great to be in them. What I love about being in Star Wars is the kids. When kids come up to me and they ask me, you know, did you really cut Darth Maul in half? And how does your lightsaber work? And all those things. I love that, you know. But it's very, very weird when adults come up and ask the same question.
Yeah, you get those like the Trekkies, you know.
A lot.
Yeah. Sort of secret society of weird people. Yeah. Now, what about the last time you were on the show, '98 or so? You were about to go in the theatre, weren't you, to do Little Malcolm and the Eunuchs? And what was that like, going back on stage? Did it terrify you?
It was just fantastic, but it was terrifying. I mean, when on the opening night of a play, we had a set with one door on that side and a bed on the other side from the door, and I had to start the play under the covers of the bed. And my uncle, Dennis Lawson, directed the play, and I said to him in my excitement when we started, you know, I want to be in the bed when they open up the auditorium, so I'll be in the bed while the audience come in. And he said, no, you don't want to be in the bed while the audience come in, believe me. And God, he was right, because when you start hearing them, because backstage you've got a speaker, and you start hearing the audience coming in, you know, and you hear a few voices, and then it grows to this hum, and you're just, the first night, you think, what the hell am I doing? Why did I think that this was a good idea? And who am I trying to fool here? And I think I even had a speech worked out in my head of what I would say at the point that I couldn't carry on, you know. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm terribly sorry, but I can't carry on because I'm not good enough, you know. Terrifying.
But why do it then?
Because it's just fantastic. It's, as an actor, you have a great deal of power over the audience. It's an immediate response, and you get a round of applause at the end, you know. And for an actor, that's a big thing. I like to hear that. Thank you very much, and you go, oh, thank you very much. It's good, it's good, it's good, I love it.
What about the other strand to your enterprise at present? Because you've been doing these documentaries, haven't you? You did the one in the jungles of Honduras, and you did the polar bear one. Tell me, I mean, why to start with? I mean, what's the purpose behind it? Is it get away from the world that you're in, from the
Well, I think they were both quite different. I got offered a few of these things in the past, and I've never considered them. But then I got an offer through to go and see polar bears in the wild and to spend some time in this town in North Canada called Churchill. And I just thought, well, I would never normally do that, and when would one ever get the opportunity to do that? So I decided really just because, why not, you know? So I went up there and I got a chance to be very, very close to these beautiful wild animals. And also it was the first time I'd been on camera. No, it's not. The first time I was on your show was when I was on camera as myself. But to kind of make it all up as you go along and to see what kind of show you can make out of it was quite interesting.
And then the Honduras thing, which I mean the
Honduras one was
an endurance test in a sense,
much more of a challenge for me, really.
And I imagine, well, a challenge in the sense that I suppose you spend a lot of your life in the making movies being, in a sense, cosseted, don't you? Being followed by people.
Yeah. God, they follow you, yeah. You know, they'll come and knock on your door, on your trailer or whatever, and they'll say, and we're ready for you on set. And then you go, okay, I'm coming. And you leave, and they'll follow you onto the set. And on Moulin Rouge, we'd been making this film for 6 months. I mean, did they think I'd forget where the set was? And if you go for a pee or something on set, they're like that. Yeah. Ewan's gone for a pee. Okay, Roger. Yes, Ewan finished his pee yet? And you think, give me a radio and I'll let you listen. And you'll know when I'm finished. So to go into the jungle was exactly that, an escape from all of that. And And absolutely, they didn't help me out, you know what I mean? We carried on our backs what we needed to survive for the 10 days we were in there. And I had to do all that. You know, I'm sure people think there was a guy, you know, off camera who carried my rucksack, but there wasn't. And it was a great experience, because it had been a long time since I've felt that kind of freedom, and you feel very alive. Life becomes very, very simple, because it's about drinking water, about getting from this point to be picked up at that point. So how do we do that? And it becomes very, very simple, and it was a very pure experience. I loved it.
What about any sort of dangerous moments at all? I mean, scary moments?
Well, there was a great moment with a snake, because there was a lot of things in there that can harm you, and snakes were one of them. And we were going back. I don't know if anyone saw it, but there's a moment where we made a bowl in a banana tree to gather water. So we'd done that the day before, and we were going back the following day to film us, you know, oh look, there's water in it and stuff. And me and the stills photographer, we'd got a bit ahead of the rest of the crew. And he was standing there, and I stopped just to see if they were coming, you know, to catch up. And as I turned back to look at him, the ground started moving like this. And I looked down, and there was a huge, huge python uncoiling itself in the ground, kind of in between the grass and stuff. And when you're in there, it's so dangerous that there's a lot of gags and jokes about it. You know, I think you'll find that anywhere where there are dangerous things that can happen to you, there's also a lot of humor associated to those things. So we'd made snake jokes and stuff, but I looked at this guy and I went, snake, 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 snake. And that's all I could say. I went, snake. And he turned around and he went, sorry, Mum. And that was, but it was fantastic. It was fantastic to see that. Just to see that huge animal in the wild was great.